You are watching On Demand. Please do not try to vote or enter any competition or other interactivity in this programme, as it may not count and you may still be charged.
Today on your Loose Women Live, it's Christine Lampard, Frankie Bridge, Janet Street Porter and Kelly Bryan.
Hello and happy Halloween! Welcome to your Monday Loose Women Live. Coming up, as our evenings become darker earlier on, will you be changing up your routine to avoid going alone in the dark? We're talking whether women are now bound to winter hours in order to keep safe. Also, have you watered your plants today? As experts say, lots of us consider plants to be less alive than animals. We're asking, should we be treating our plants like our pets? Yes? Yes. And...
They let you out of that daft goo then? I've been in prison. That's terrible. You're more suited to nut house.
Shadrach, tell him. We don't want no nonsense, not today.
You heard him, Kate.
Can you believe it's been 22 years since Cian Dingle first stepped foot in the Dales? Emmerdale's Jeff Hordley is live in the studio to kick off a dramatic week with deadly consequences. And as always, let us know what you think about everything we chat about today. Now, of course, Halloween and our Loose Women celebrations happened on Friday. Frankie, of course, was slap bang in the middle of it. And if you missed the chaos, here's a little look at what happened.
Where am I? Oh, I'm Judy. You're in Wonderland.
Welcome to your Halloween special, Loose Women in Wonderland. It's Nadia, the Queen of Hearts, Soalha. Judy Love is our very own Alice. Frankie, White Rabbit Bridge. And me, the Mad Hatter. It's White Rabbit, Frankie Bridge. Oh, no acting needed.
Get it?
It's me, Nanny Linda, and I'm here. I'm here with Keith Lemon. We've nicked all these sandwiches and cakes because we're starving.
It's not real!
Is it? It is! Isn't it,
Really good. So how was it?
It was just one of those shows, you know, that it's just absolute madness. And actually, I didn't really realise how crazy it was until you showed that back. I was like, what were we all doing? It was funny. It was a really good show. And Judy actually cried when she came on set because she just couldn't believe how amazing it looked.
Yeah.
And I think she just really got into the fact that she was Alice.
Yes, of course you do.
Yeah, it was great fun.
It's a lot of fun, though, isn't it? And you kind of forget you're on the telly, which is dangerous.
That's the thing. So we did this. I had this flashback of we had to do this thing, drink me or eat me. So they had a nice thing and a horrible thing, and we had to pick one to try. And that was for me, I'm a celeb flashback all day, every day.
Yeah.
Luckily, I got a glass of champagne. And Linda, they tricked her and gave her two horrible things. They gave her jellied eels, which she was like, I'm not drinking that, so she drank a shake instead, but it was jellied eels in a shake. Poor old Humpty Dumpty had an awful day.
I thought Linda was a Cockney and they like jelly deals.
That's what I said.
Exactly.
Where I'm from, my dad's Cockney and so is my mum, so I was like, oh, she'll love them, no bother. But she's the one Cockney that I know that don't like them.
If you are indeed a Cockney and you also don't like them, get in touch and tell us.
Generalisation there, but in my family, they are the one.
We weren't, of course, the only ones to ditch the more traditional ghoulish costumes this year, with loads of celebrities getting very creative in their outfits. Kim Kardashian, up there she is. Mystique from X-Men, looking outrageously
I thought she was an Avatar, so that shows how much I know.
Yeah, actually, it doubles up, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, Kendall Jenner, look at that. She's Jessie from Toy Story. I mean, that's just fantastic. That's just too good for a Halloween costume, isn't it? And then Jade from Little Mix. Look at that. Oh, how good's that? People are very, very inventive, aren't they? You have to go all out or you don't go at all, really, now, isn't it? It's like that. What was your weekend like? Did you do anything?
Yeah, so we did on the Saturday, we went to just like a local place that does this Halloween thing. They have bouncy castle and disco and stuff for the kids. So it was nice. One of mine dressed up and the other one, in the end, decided he didn't want to dress up. He was too embarrassed, so he wore a Stranger Things jumper. Not that he's seen it, but he knows it's something scary. And that was it. I didn't dress up, but it kind of gave me the giggles seeing grown-ups like dressed up like as we were walking in, there was this man and he had like a buggy and he was pushing it in and he was dressed up as the Grim Reaper and he just looked so miserable. Like his wife had made him dress up and he was just like, why am I here and what am I doing?
How many days is Halloween? Once Halloween was one day, now we started on the show on Friday.
Yeah.
You did it all weekend and we're doing it and it's happening again tonight. When does it stop? That's what I want to know. I don't want to go out tonight. I'm speaking for the oppressed minority who are going to be intimidated, feel under siege.
Well, how do you feel about the fact that it's basically Christmas tomorrow?
It's not.
It is, Janet.
It's not.
It is.
The Christmas
tomorrow.
special
Christmas
today.
tomorrow now.
Thanksgiving before Christmas, if you're interested.
But it's a night more than anything for children, isn't it? It's a bit of fun just dressing up and the whole pumpkin thing's such a big
So
deal.
does it make people like me nasty old maids? Because I actually think it's a huge waste of money. I get upset about all those pumpkins being cut up and then wasted when we're going on and on about food and wastage and that. Oh, right, there's not wastage. Halloween's acceptable. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, back in my day in Northern Ireland, there was no such thing as a pumpkin. It was a turnip. Do you know how?
I feel like you've been lied to.
No, I know. Maybe. Do you know how tough it is to scoop out a turnip? A pumpkin just goes like that. A turnip, like you're breaking your wrist with a spoon trying to get in. But that, it was a big deal.
Really?
You only had turnips.
By the way,
and then you got money.
turnips are our Swedes. Just saying.
That's just posh talk. It's a turnip.
He's talking about a Swede.
Yeah, but in Ireland they get given money as well.
Yeah, we used to go like trick or treating, but it was you didn't get sweets. You were given money. Way more fun.
Yes.
Needed to
Ireland.
switch things up over here, folks. Anyway,
Everyone get your turnips.
Right, very, very different type of story now to talk about. Should businesses offer fertility leave? The supermarket chain Co-op is in the headlines today for their new policy, which will allow staff to take paid time off for fertility treatments. Is it a good idea, Frankie? I mean, it's a very stressful time for a lot of couples if you're going through that. To be allowed time off might just help.
I just think for a lot of people, there's physically no time to do both. Like, obviously, I had a sister that's just gone through IVF and she's going through it again. And even with her, like, luckily for her, she doesn't work. And so she was over here having it done. And actually, it ended up being through lockdown because she'd already started her treatment. So there was time for her to go in and out of London to have her treatment. It was a lot quicker. But I remember saying to her, like, how would you have done this with a full-time job? And she was like, I honestly don't know. And there's a girl online that I follow, an influencer, and she's just frozen her eggs. So it's not even the full, you know, trying to fully have a baby, that whole thing. And I actually remember watching her, and she said she doesn't know how she would physically have had like an office job or something like that where she had to be in every day to be able to do the both. So I do think it's a really good idea. I see from like an employer's point of view, maybe it's not ideal, but I think as someone that's going through it, having watched it and known someone, I don't know how you would physically do it because you have to have blood tests every day, then they decide whether you need to go in and have more treatment.
Alongside, you were talking just the scheduling of it being stressful, but the emotional toll that an awful lot of it can put on.
I mean, as a business owner, I think it's quite a lot to ask, and there's a lot that you'd have to balance out for that because you know you're giving the person time off to have the fertility treatment. Then you know inevitably, hopefully, if everything goes well, then they're going to be a parent, and then you've got to look at maternity leave, and then on top of the maternity leave, then you're going to have after that, then the mother's going to want time off as well to be with their child, which they should. It becomes like almost like it could be, you know, 2 years maybe losing that member of staff. So for me, as a business owner, I'm thinking about the long term and how I would manage that and how I would balance that. I mean, for me, I invest in my female staff. I think they're really important and I support them if they want to go off and have children. But then to add on top of that fertility treatment, paid time off, how long is a piece of string? Because we don't know how long it's going to take for you to fall.
It's not set for a big company.
Yeah,
it's a lot
it's not
easier.
a set time.
It is.
Yeah.
So far, it's been the really big companies that have done it, the tech companies and so on. And also it changes the relationship between the woman and her employer, because if that employer gives you the paid leave or a time off to become pregnant through the IVF treatment and then the legal maternity leave, I wonder if it doesn't favour women against men. Like we've got a problem with population decline anyway. So I kind of think, yeah, we want more babies, we want more children and so on. But as the austerity kicks in, if it is going to kick in, and profits, like you say, will be hit really hard, businesses are going to have to make tough decisions, aren't they?
Yeah,
about whether this is, I hesitate to call it a perk, but if it's something they can actually afford.
I mean, I completely sympathise with the woman because it's a very difficult process to get through. But it's, as an employer, it's a lot to ask for me because I think because the process is so difficult, and I've obviously witnessed a friend of mine go through it as well, and the ups and downs, and is it going to happen this time? Is it going to happen the next time? Do we then get into the nitpicking? Oh, I'll do it for this time, but if it doesn't work, I'm not going to do it for the next time. Do you know what I mean? It's a very difficult one as an employer to kind of support that whole process.
Yeah, and if you say, the Co-op has said it's unlimited leave, but I can see why they've had to say that. Because if they said, all right, it's 10 days or 5 days or 10 days or 2 weeks, but it's like setting no financial penalty on it from their point of view. And I wonder what the shareholders ultimately will come back and say, you know, because it is going to be tough times ahead for businesses like the Co-op, because obviously retail trade is being hit really, really badly at the moment.
Yeah, but it's a female boss at Co-op, and so a lot of people are saying she fully appreciates what her staff are going to be going through. She may have gone through it herself, and therefore wants to understand as the employer, as the boss, which is a very nice thing to do. But like you say, it's very difficult for all bosses and all businesses.
Well, we should find out what John Lewis are going to do, because they've got a female boss, a very highly regarded female boss, but she's making lots of tough financial decisions at the moment, because obviously John Lewis is under, you know, it's really fighting for survival. And in that scenario, even as a female boss that respects other women's rights to have children and so on, you have a tough decisions to make.
Yeah, they are tough decisions to make, definitely.
Very much so. OK, still to come, we're talking cobwebbing. No, it's not a Halloween trend. It's a dating trend, and whether it's the key to getting over a relationship. And Emmerdale's resident bad boy, Cain Dingle, that's actor Jeff Hordley, is live in the studio uncovering his on-screen sister's affair tonight. Are things about to turn deadly in the Dales? We'll see you in a moment. Welcome back. Still to come, how do you get closure after the end of the relationship? We're going to be investigating cobwebbing, a new trend that's supposed to do just that, and reveal which one of us swears by it. It was a really quick cutaway of Janet there.
No! I couldn't remember that either.
Pick on me! Cameron 3.
And ahead of a very dramatic week for Cain Dingle, Emmerdale's Jeff Hordley opens up and why their son could soon follow in their star-studded footsteps. Now, today is the last day of Lupus Awareness Month. And Kelly, of course, we know it's something you're very passionate about. Yes, what have you been doing this month to try and raise awareness, Kelly? And for those that maybe don't fully understand what it is, just give us a synopsis of what you've been through.
Lupus is a blood disease that affects the white blood cells. So we've all got red and white blood cells, but in lupus patients, the white blood cells become overactive and they begin to fight the body itself. So that's basically what happens. And at the moment, there's no cure. There's no really real reason why you get it. And the fact that there's very limited research means that there's very limited treatments that patients can be given. This month, I've been on the trail because I think, you know, we're all in difficult times, aren't we? So for lots of different charities, it's really difficult times to raise funds or raise awareness because it's just tough times for everybody. So this month has been particularly a tough month, but I have managed to raise £10,000. I haven't done that alone. I've got a lovely team of people that I work with, so I'm really happy about that. But it's more about raising the awareness because there are some GPs that aren't even aware of what the symptoms are. So things to look out for are things like a rash that won't heal, also in the shape of a butterfly on the face, arthritic symptoms. If you have a look, there's some... the picture that's shown there kind of gives you an idea of the things that you should look out for. So arthritic symptoms, hair loss, feeling overly tired. The reason I took that picture, and I was naked at the time, is because I wanted people to understand the starkness of the disease. You know, lots of people feel like it's not something that's particularly severe, but it is. And the other thing I wanted to raise awareness about is cerebral lupus. So cerebral lupus is when the lupus activity goes to the brain. And myself, I had that but didn't realise. So I was having symptoms that are kind of, you know, nearer to sort of mental health problems. So I had a distorted view of what my reality was. Like if you were talking to me here, your face would look distorted and your voice would be really loud and in my face. And so I used to bolt on a regular basis and run away because I was so scared of that reality. And obviously having young children at the time, they were sometimes scared of me too because they weren't sure of how mummy was going to react in that situation. And so I was so afraid that my children were going to be taken away from me because I wasn't in control of my own thoughts or how I was reacting. And also didn't know what was happening to me, so I wasn't sure of what I was capable of. So if there is anyone out there that may be experiencing those kind of symptoms, lupus is an option, and people aren't aware that lupus can go to the brain and affect you in those kinds of ways. So I would just advise, you know, going to your GP and you know, almost demanding that they check for lupus symptoms.
Yeah, because there's nothing that kind of brings it on as such. No. Suddenly, that's the big thing.
No, you can wait. You can have a really bad cold, maybe have arthritic symptoms, feel generally unwell. But that's so broad, isn't it? That could be a million and one things. Yeah, but it's things like the rash and the arthritis. For me, it started in my mouth. I had sores and ulcers that wouldn't heal, and they then spread down my body, and I got to the point where I wasn't able to move or speak, and so it can really escalate, especially if it goes undetected and undiagnosed.
So it's debilitating. So as you say, awareness. Let's keep talking about it. Let people be fully aware of what
and if you do have any of those symptoms, just visit lupus.org.
Brilliant, Kelly. Thank you. Thank you very much. Competition time now. It's the final week of our biggest competition of the year. £500,000 could be yours. Here are the details.
Our prize is so big, it's scary. £500,000. Just think you could be a Hello Queen with that amount of money in the bank. But what's it like to take a call from ITV Winners HQ?
Your prize is a trip for 4 to LA.
Oh my God, tell me you're joking.
Also a BMW X3.
Oh no, hang on, is this a wind-up? You've got to tell me now if this is a wind-up.
It's definitely not a wind-up. You've also won...
£40,000?
Yes.
Oh my God, I think I'm going to burst into tears. Are you serious?
Yes, I'm serious.
Our beautiful £500,000 could be heading your way. For another chance to win, text CASH to 82248. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. Go to the website to enter. Entries cost £2. Call 09068 782248. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to Cash 44, PO Box 7558, Derby, DE10NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on Friday, 4th of November. Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck. Now, could cobwebbing be the solution to coping with the end of a relationship? The latest trend refers to when you clear out everything that reminds you of the past. All photographs, All messages, ticket stubs, old phone numbers, everything has to go. It's all about getting closure and moving on. And Kelly, you're all for it.
Yes, 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 and yes. Yes. Literally, especially if it's not been a very good relationship. Literally, I went through every photo, and I'm sure there are lots of nodding heads in it. I literally ripped up every photo. I was like, actually, I quite like that one of me, but I'll just rip him out.
Yeah.
She's got a box full of just her. I was like, I feel like that's a bit psychotic.
Yeah, but it's a picture where I've got that I actually feel like I looked good in. I was like, yeah, I look good in that picture. I'm keeping that, but you've got to go. I literally got rid of everything, but it felt really cleansing. And also, I wasn't going to trip myself up. You know, like sometimes you're looking through your phone or whatever pictures, and you don't want to get jolted back to that person, especially if that person wasn't a great one, you know? And so, like, I just loved it, because now I can go through my house, I can go through my past stuff, go through those old drawers, and know I'm never going to find anything that's going to remind me of something that
You've got rid of the cobwebs.
Yeah. This is a bit disturbing, though, isn't it? Because, as someone who's had a lot of relationships, I'm thinking...
Poor Janet is dusting all day.
I've got nothing left.
Yeah, well, one of my favourite pictures is 3 of my husbands all together in one picture. And I would not get rid of any of the pictures at all, except for, obviously, the 4th one that I've airbrushed out.
Obviously.
Airbrush him out.
Well, you know, there's something called Who's Who, where it's the big Bible of who, you know, it is what it is, but you get the chance to fill in your form about your life, and I just left out a husband. Because I thought, you know...
That's the ultimate cobwebbing.
Yeah, I've cobwebbed him out. He's flushed away. It's gone down the U-bend of life. I'm sorry, but I do think, actually, that while I applaud you, Kelly, airbrushing out or getting rid of all these people that you've ever been in relationships with does somewhat reflect on your taste in men.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's like you've made all those bad decisions and you can't cope with them, so you're just getting rid of them.
Do you know what? I honestly take full responsibility. I made a dreadful decision. It was an awful person. And actually, all jokes aside, it was an abusive relationship. So any women out there that are in that situation that do want to get rid of that, I applaud you. But I take full responsibility for the decision that I made in allowing that person into my life. But I also take full responsibility for exiting him too.
Yeah. Cobwebbing. Who knew, eh?
I know. I feel like Janet has to cobweb, otherwise you'd run out of space. Like.
I hate that word cobweb. It's just such a namby.
Do you like it as much as you like the word closure?
I hate closure, I hate reaching out, I hate cobwebbing, and by the way, I hate Halloween. Ta-da! I've ticked all the boxes today.
It's a good day for Janet.
But on the positive side.
It's not even Christmas yet. Don't get me
I
started.
can't wait for Christmas.
I went on the news today, it said the turkeys have gone up in price. If I hear that story one more time. All right, we've got bird flu. It is serious for poultry producers, but just I know it's on a bit of a different tack. But I'm worried now about my Christmas.
She's gone off on one now. Christine, what do you need to say?
It's like the extra stuff you see on a YouTube channel after the show. But anyway, yeah, we'll stick with what is on the script after the break. Your daily routine change. Of course, it's darker evenings now. It's getting darker earlier. We're going to be discussing the idea that women now need to live by winter hours in order to keep safe. And he's Emmerdale's bad boy, Cian Dingle. Jeff Hordley is here ahead of a very dramatic week in the Dales. And he's brought a gift for Janet. Maybe it's a turkey, who knows? We'll find out after this. See you shortly. To your Monday Loose Women Live. Casting their spell over you this lunchtime is our loose panel of Frankie Bridge, Janet Street Porter, Kelly Bryan and me, Christine Lampard. Still to come today, we're debating whether we should treat our plants as pets. Yes. And there's another dramatic week ahead in the Dales as Cian uncovers his sister's affair. Actor Jeff Hordley is live in the studio. Now, the clocks went back this weekend, which of course means our evenings become darker much earlier. And journalist Caitlin Moran has referenced this as the start of women staying in season and has suggested that as women, we have to pack everything we'd usually do in daylight hours into things like exercising outside out of fear for our safety. It's an interesting concept. I'm guessing a lot of people might feel that way, Janet, but do you start feeling a bit uneasy when it's sort of darker nights? I mean, you love getting out, you're a very sociable person, you're out all the time. Do you feel the difference?
Well, when I read Caitlin's article, I was really cross because I feel that she's a very influential writer. She's written great books. She writes a great column on Saturdays. And I just felt, although she said in the column, if you feel confident enough to go out at night, I salute you. But the tone of the column was more or less saying, oh, well, winter's come, get back under the duvet, because, because she felt fearful about going out after dark. And I just think that that's just not good enough. I mean, the fact of the matter is that crime figures have gone down by 18% in the year to last March. The figures that have gone up are for mugging. And mugging's gone up tremendously. And that happens during the day and not so much in the evening. What we've seen a huge rise in is people having their phones or their handbags or their jewellery snatched from them during the day. And what I want women to do is to be sensible, to be confident. And obviously, if you go, home at night, look around you and take practical steps to make sure that you do get home safely. But what really annoyed me about her column was that a lot of women don't have the choice. They're working shifts, they're finishing work, 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening, it's dark, they've got to go home in the dark. They don't have the option of, not going out, they've got to get home. And I feel, I feel for those women, and I don't think they should be scared. There used to be something called Reclaim the Streets, and I want to claim women, we own the streets as much as men do. And I'm not saying take a risk, I'm just saying be careful.
Yeah, I've been a victim, so I've been that woman that's, that I did get jumped in Brixton. And so I completely understand victims who don't feel empowered enough to do that, and the darker nights will remind them, will be triggering for them for incidents that may have happened in their lives, and I completely support that. But in my situation, I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to go out. I didn't feel social. I didn't feel safe. But my partner at the time was like, why don't you just try something that makes you feel a bit more empowered within yourself? So I did, and I went and did kickboxing. That's when I started my training. But in learning self-defence, not that I think, oh, I'm going to use that and I'm going to go and tackle somebody. That's not the point. The point was making me feel more confident and in how I carried myself. So now if I'm out, I don't, I'm not courting trouble. That's not what I'm saying. But I do definitely, I would say, exude the confidence. And I find that, people will, instead of coming to me, they'll go to someone that looks more vulnerable. And I don't feel vulnerable anymore. But that's about taking charge of that and being more confident. And also making really good decisions, and not feeling silly for doing certain things. Like, sometimes women feel like, oh, if I, like we were saying earlier, pretend that I'm talking on the phone to somebody. At the end of the day, whatever makes you feel safer, I always walk with my keys pointed out if I'm walking out, at late at night, things like that. I do look before I open the door, just little sensible, practical steps that you can take to make yourself feel safer.
Yeah, but I would certainly, if the dog needs walked at night time at this stage now, and say Frank were at home, I'd make him do it and not me, just because I think I feel a little bit uneasy. And maybe it's just being in a big city. I don't think I'd feel like that if I was back home. When I say back home, I mean Northern Ireland.
But it's what neighbourhood you live in as well.
That's exactly what I mean.
It's what you're surrounded.
Absolutely. And there's definitely little dark clusters of spaces around where I live. And I would purposely feel that I'm going to walk the longer way to feel safe. I wouldn't, if it means a shortcut to get home, I wouldn't do the shortcut because it's the darker way. And you can't help but just feel a bit uneasy. But sadly, you just don't know. And it's an awful way to be. And it's unfortunate, rather than sort of us, as you say, putting the duvet over us and kind of live in winter like that, we all collectively all need to get together to create a safer space for us to live in, where we can feel like we can just walk the dog at whatever time. How dare anyone make us feel like we can't?
Well, that's exactly right. Why should someone we don't know, some faceless individual, make us feel that we can't walk our dog or go for a jog after 6 o'clock at night? It's outrageous. And the other thing is that on public transport, in London in particular, there's CCTV everywhere. It's in every carriage, it's on every platform. And, you know, they've really addressed personal safety. I think the other thing to keep in mind is that if you walk around holding a phone in front of your face at any time of the day or night, you're asking for trouble. If you've got an expensive handbag or any nice handbag outside your coat at night, it's not a sensible thing to do. And they're just small practical things. But what I don't want to see is women shrinking into themselves. It's everything I've campaigned against all my life. And it really bothers me if someone as influential as Caitlin Moran is saying that's how she feels.
It is. It's very unfortunate. We asked you at home, do you feel more unsafe walking out alone, sort of in winter months? 82% of those that got in touch said yes, they do. So that is a huge proportion of people feeling different because of the time of the year, which is, as you say, we've got to, in some way, pull this back and own it. Still to come, we'll be revealing which of us treats our plants like a pet. Light and shade. Why, actually, we should all be doing that, OK? Don't be laughing. We should all be doing it. And Emmerdale's Ken Dingle, that's Jeff Hordley, tells us about his best moments from his 22 years on Emmerdale. See you in a bit. Hordley, that's Emmerdale's Ken Dingle, is here to celebrate 50 years of Emmerdale. First, though, new research suggests we may suffer from plant blindness, with experts saying we consider them to be less alive than animals. So, Frankie? Frankie?
Why have it come to me?
Liven up, Frankie, because I know you love your plants.
Yeah, no, I literally thought, it's Janet's got this one. Yeah, you know what? I do have some plants in my house. Like, in my garden, they have to be evergreens because they're not going to get any love. And I don't like it when a garden where, like, it looks really nice in the summer and then just looks really sad in the winter. Yeah. That just annoys me. And then secondly, I got some plants in my bathroom because someone was like, oh, the steam and stuff, like, keeps them alive. That's not true. They're on the turn, and I just think it's just another thing I need to keep alive in my house.
Is the problem that you're not talking to them enough? You're not giving them love.
Because I'm not crazy.
Are you saying that I'm crazy?
There's no way. There's no way you talk to your plants, and if you do, it's only because they can't talk back.
I tell my plants to buckle up, get on with it. You know, I brought some...
It's not loving talk, though, is it?
I am very loving when it comes to my lettuces. Because, by the way, viewers, my lettuces not only outlived Liz Truss, Lettuce Lil, they're still going strong. And I say...
That is a magnificent garden of yours, though. That's only a tiny section, clearly, of your plants.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that was a couple of summers ago. It wasn't as good this summer. But, yeah, I have had some real successes with my vegetables. And indoors, at the moment, I have got 3 chilli plants, and I do talk to them because I brought the seeds illegally back from Australia. No doubt I'll be raided
Didn't think you were going to say that on TV.
Well, they're chilli... They're hardly Class A drugs. They're red hot chili peppers. And I've had a bit of a dilemma because I love plants, but they've got too big. Oh, no. Sorry, Brenda, I can't see you.
Brenda!
I'm so
break going, oh, she's just so lovely, Jen. I gave her so many lovely comments about her being...
Oh, no, it went to my head.
Unbiased. And now she's calling me Brenda.
Oh, no, please accept this very ugly plant.
Oh, thank you.
And it is only because you love your plants. You get very passionate about talking about it.
Yeah, I do get passionate about talking
anyway,
about
there
them.
you go. Janet loves plants more than people. We have now surmised that. Well done. Competition time now, folks. You can buy a load of plants with this. £500,000 could be yours. Here are all the details.
It's no trick. It's definitely a treat. Our biggest prize of the year, £500,000. But what's it like to take a call from ITV Winners HQ?
And you've won £60,000.
This is a wind-up, isn't it?
No, I'm being deadly serious.
You know, you are... I've just literally been made redundant, and I'm in the process of looking for work.
Our spooktacular prize could be on its way to you. For another chance to win, text CASH to 82248. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. Go to the website to enter. Entries cost £2. Call 09068 782248. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to Cash 44, PO Box 7558, Derby, DE1 0NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on Friday, 4th of November. Good luck.
No. Sorry, we're all having a bit of a love-in.
Oh, sorry.
Anyway, yeah, we're back on the TV.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that.
Sorry about that. Now, Emmerdale Village may have only just recovered from a huge storm, but the drama is far from over as Chaz and Al's affair is uncovered by Kane tonight.
Hey, so this is it? You got my messages?
Chaz? Chaz, you there?
And here to tell us more is Emmerdale bad boy himself, Jeff Hordley. This is brilliant. I know there's a lot of love.
Excited. Never seen anything like it.
She's I'm going to have to get you to, yeah? Pull back there. Right, Jet, this is fantastic. I mean, it's been quite a few weeks, months in Emmerdale, in fact, but this week, it's actually, this is no spoiler because this is being trailed all over ITV at the minute. It's you standing with a gun. That never ends well in Soapland.
No, it doesn't, and it all comes to a head tonight with Michael and myself. So, yeah, you have to tune in and see what happens. Should be good.
Oh. That's a little bit playing it safe. You're not going to have any spoilers at all.
Well, you know, I think people can guess something's going to happen. The good news is from here there's some really good stories. You know, like I think when you do stories like this, you've got to have the ripple effect afterwards, and this causes certain ripples throughout for various characters within the village. So, yeah. Whether it's me, I can't tell you.
No. Yes, of course.
This is a very violent show. They've had to explain to me.
I mean, what soap isn't kind of violent or dangerous?
All right, I've got 4 points here. Harriet, the village vicar, died after she fell off her quad bike.
Yeah.
Sam Dingle and Nate Robinson were left running for their lives after a cow stampede.
Yeah.
Sam Dingle was left in pain after being impaled on some farming machinery. And Liv was crushed by a caravan.
I know. You couldn't write it, could you? You actually couldn't write it.
That's only 1 week.
Yeah.
So when you go to work, Are you worried about what's next?
I'm worried every year. We're only on a year's contract at a time, and there's times of the year when people's contracts are up, and yeah, everybody's nervous.
But you've been on it for 22 years now?
Yeah, I had a little break for 3 years, so I think I've done 19, but 22.
Wow.
The character's been around for 22 years.
So you must have, like, light and shade with your character. It must be fun, all these, like, massive dramas that go on and...
Yeah, I think I've been lucky because I've been in the show for so long, the writers have written really well for the character, so many layers to the character, and, you know, I think the stories that we had just recently with Sally Dexter, with Faith, you see a different side to Kane, because I think she's the only person that can make him act in the way he has done. Because
very much so.
She was his mother, and
It was the softer side of Kane.
Yeah.
I'm a hardcore Emmerdale fan here,
Right.
so yeah, I'm trying to contain myself like a really But the 50 years of Emmerdale as well, but won the we won the NTA.
We won it, didn't we? Yeah. Thanks, Christine.
Congrats, Christine.
We won the NTA. I feel part of Emmerdale cast. And of course, King Charles did this beautiful dedication to the show. It's been there for, certainly growing up, Emmerdale has always been there in our household. And it's part of your family. Your wife's involved in the show clearly as well. It takes over. So after 22 years, you can't imagine life without it.
No, it's been good to us as a family, and I feel like I have not only my own family. It's been good for us, but you know, I have a kind of core group of friends there who I've grown up with and collected along the way.
Yeah.
So we've got these great friends now within Emmerdale as well.
Well,
so
aside from Emmerdale, your passion, like Janet,
Yes.
is getting out into the garden, or indeed your allotment.
Yeah.
And you're most proud of, is it tomatoes? Chilies? I hear chilies on
chilies,
there.
tomatoes, yeah.
Yeah.
I've had not much success with cucumbers this year. Been
I
bad for
haven't
us.
grown cucumbers, but I was banned from talking about my tomatoes on the show. Well,
Why?
because last year, Brenda and I had a bit of a tomato growing competition, and it took over. So we were competing on the show, and there would be whole parts where we just talked about our tomatoes. And it's this year, I'm afraid, I've not been allowed to discuss. Thank goodness you're on
I'm
today.
here. Let's talk tomatoes. Yeah.
I don't know about anyone else, but I've checked out.
Now, are you growing winter lettuces?
I've got some, actually. I've got some.
Sorry, ladies,
I have got
this
some.
is more important than the storyline to me.
My mother-in-law just popped up and commented on our lettuces in the back garden.
Ooh, really? And what about potatoes?
No, not winter ones, but I've still got some in the ground from the
Have
summer.
you really?
Yeah.
Oh, I just dug up my last one.
What's happening?
Sorry, Christine.
I grew some
You've got a little
Oh, yeah, I've
stash
got
with you, haven't you?
because I knew you like Halloween. I've got you some masks, some sweets and things like that to
No.
give for the trick or... No, I'm joking, Janet. I've got you some of our homemade
my
chili jam and
goodness.
some chilies as well.
That is a fantastic present.
So these are called Adji Lemon.
Yeah.
Very hot, brilliant.
Yeah.
You know you can use the seed to grow more.
Jeff, Janet, I'm going to let you continue your chilly chat because we have to go. Thank you very much for your company, audience. Thank you very much, Jeff. We will see you tomorrow. Happy Halloween. Bye-bye.
Thank you.